Welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of the Average Guy. I am the average guy, Armando, and this week I just want to talk about a couple of things. One is what I'm doing lately. Two, there was a subject matter over the weekend that me and my wife were discussing, and I don't want to say it triggered me, but I find it kind of interesting. It's in regards to the American school system versus those in other countries, say South America or anywhere else for that matter. It's just, to me, it was kind of funny, but I did go on a rant, so I do apologize to my wife. And then the second thing is, last night I went out to get a bite to eat with a friend of mine, and basically he posed the question if I ever gotten dirty looks from women, if I were to either glance at them or not really stare, but just kind of look in their direction. So we'll discuss, that in a bit. But first, I want to go back to me and how my week is going. It's going pretty great. We had a 3-day weekend. Martin Luther King Day was on the 20th of Monday, so that was pretty awesome. So pretty much just a kickback weekend for me. Unfortunately, archery is still up. We got other things of importance going on, so got that going, and my wife is just working nonstop. So that with the kid keeps us busy. So we'll tackle it. Maybe not this weekend, probably the next, because there's a lot of things coming up. So with that in mind, hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Also, great week. My week's been pretty good. I've been doing pretty well in my training at my new job. And in between the sessions where we have our breaks, I've been picking up a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, in regards to financing and the language of finance and money. So learning what works, what doesn't. So I highly recommend that. It's a watered down version of a financial course, I should say. I did go to college. Yay, go me. CSUN, and I did take one of their business, no, not business course, finance course, sorry. And in that class, it was just a bunch of jargon, and I wasn't lost. It was just a lot of repetition. But with this book, it kind of, it's not in a bad way, but it simplifies things so you can understand what's going on and his way of thinking. So, highly recommend the book. I've had the book for a while. In my shelf, and you know what, I'm just going to pick it up. And like I said, that was one of my goals, to read more and to finish at least 10 books this year. It's possible. Got to read a few pages, 15 minutes a day, so go ahead and do that. And then yeah, it's just talks about like educating ourselves, and that's a great transition to what I'm going to talk about. What me and my wife talked about over the weekend was the school systems in America. See, we have a little one. He's in school, and when he comes back from school, when we pick him up, he comes back with his homework. And then my wife was telling me, like, hey, it's like at his age, I don't remember doing, most of the stuff that he's doing now. And to me, that got me off guard, because I'm like, wait, I was born in the year of early 80s. She was born more in the late 80s or mid to late 80s. But my experience in kindergarten was, not only did we learn about shapes, um, we learned about time. So basically, if we were to look at a clock right now, more or less, I would get the idea of like, oh, okay, it's like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or something. Excuse me, I got like a terrible cough. It's that time of the season. So I would do that. We would learn adding, just the basic math stuff, just up to 10 and then maybe up to 20. I think the goal was back then was just getting as much as information, little bits and pieces just, drilled into you. And nowadays, it seems kind of weird. Uh, I don't know, maybe if you paid attention in class, it wouldn't be so weird. So, I mean, I didn't attack my wife when we were talking, but it just, to me, it just sounds kind of weird, because she told me that when she would visit Mexico, because she's from Mexico, aside from her family, but she was born here. But you know what I mean. she would go down there and people would say like, "Oh, we're studying this or that." And I had the similar situation where my brother and I and our family would go down to like Mexico. We even drove, not me, but my dad, he drove like for like 2 weeks going from LA all the way down to Guatemala. And, most of the kids were like, really? We were, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, to the best of my recollection, I was in the third grade. My brother would have been in the fourth grade, more or less. And they were already doing, fractions, long division, algebra. Uh, I was like, holy crap. I think we were just starting off with fractions in the third grade. Um, and yeah, when we got back from the trip, I was introduced to, you know, fractions, and I was already 2 weeks behind because we got there kind of 2 weeks late. Multiplication, which was somewhat easy for me since they were kind of teaching me that down there in Guatemala. So I had a little bit of a leg up, but I wish they would have taught me fractions because I still struggle with that. But yeah, there's a difference between the educational system in other areas or in other countries and versus America. I think America, they just want you to stay stupid. Sorry, lack of a better word. Or do you want me to say dumb? Don't get offended. They want the general public school systems to stay stupid. And in the long run, if they find a diamond in the rough, oh yeah, you get AP classes, you get magnet schools, but you got to pay a little bit more to get into those programs. Or I don't know how they do it because back then, when I was growing up, um, most of the classes were pretty much uh, I wouldn't say simplified. I think that their agenda was again keeping everybody stupid, but the way they would do things in the first grade, it was adding and subtracting. Okay, second grade, like believe it was like not division, but it was a continuation of long addition and long subtraction. Basically, what I'm saying is like maybe 2 to 5 digits, and you start learning more numbers and it gets to that scope. And then in the third grade, like I said, it was fractions, multiplication. So they really, really slow things down, and you shouldn't. Children pick up things. We're sponges, not only when we're babies, but when, and as I lose my voice, but as we're growing up, we want that information. We can retain it. Uh, for some people, I have an older brother. For him, it was somewhat easy. For me, it was okay. I was able to retain most of it. Um, and then my wife had said something along the terms of, like, well, when did you learn how to do algebra? Algebra came to me surprisingly in the fifth or sixth grade, I want to say. I'm trying to remember to the best of my recollection because I transferred from one elementary school to another. So then it must have been the sixth grade because in the fifth, it was late in the fifth grade where I did the transfer. Um, and it was the Los Feliz Elementary School. Shout out to them. Um, Great time. Mr. Robinson, if you're still out there, cool guy. We learned about Greek and Roman mythology. He's the one who taught us algebra. And he said that, the ceiling isn't here. You guys can break the ceiling. There is no ceiling, basically. And just continue learning. And I think that was one of my most fondest memories growing up in elementary school because he taught us different a different subject, but it was very interesting too. Just learning about something other than like American history most of the time. So that was cool. World history with the Greeks and the Romans. But again, just kind of going back to what my wife said, she was just kind of like shocked. But like I said, it's basically the American system. They don't want their people to be highly educated, and there's nothing wrong with being highly educated. Being well informed is a good thing, and misinformation can lead to a lot of stupid people. And I don't want to get too political, but we've seen a bunch of dumb people, a lot of stupid things, and you can't say anything bad about these people. Yet they're accepting and yet they're the ones not offending people. But whatever, I digress. And you know, again, people not saying good things. It could come from a visual cue. Good transition there. Boom. I'm going to talk about what happened between me and my friend. We were discussing this last night. I kind of do want to have him come on and we just kind of like bounce back and forth. But unfortunately, he's very shy. As you can see, I'm not. So basically, he just told me like, we're gonna go get some pizza. Blaze Pizza. Shout out to them. I like your pizza, but at the same time, I got to be careful. Can I have too much pizza, or else I'm in the bathroom for like a good hour. But we get there. We ended up parking, and then before we got out, he goes, "Hey man, it's like lately I've been getting some stares." I'm like, "Oh, some good ones," because known him for about oof, maybe going on maybe 28 years, and every time I'm with him, I don't know how he does it. Don't know how it works, but women seem to gravitate towards them, and I'm like, "Whoa." That was me back then. I was like, "Hey, over here, me. Can you look at me too?" Like, no, we'd rather look at your friend. So, I thought he was going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to have people staring at me positively." But no, it kind of came to a shock to me when he told me that a woman had looked at him and just kind of gave him like that barcode, basically scanning you from head to toe and back up, and gave him like a dirty look. He's not used to that because, like I said, back then, he's always been getting a lot of positive interactions. So now he's getting like a negative one. So I asked him, like, "Is everything good with you and your current relationship?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." And then my next question was this at work? And he goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." So, just cancel that shit out. He goes, "What do you mean?" For one thing, uh, women see that you're pretty much happy at work. So it's like, oh, they want a piece of that. So that's always a big red flag for me. It's like, hey, if you get a relationship with a person at work, be very, very careful, be very, very mindful of the opposite sex because they want what they don't have. And let's be honest, that's a lot of people out there. So I had to tell them, hey, take that like a grain of salt, just avoid the person and just avoid them. But, he also told me that it's also the patience he tends for at his job, or just regular customers or what have you. And I go, that's normal. I go, usually back then, like I said, it would trigger me. So I would say something stupid, like ain't nobody trying to fuck you. I'll just say it out loud. It's like you don't have to look at me like that, like with a dirty look. I would say something. I'm like, "Pff, you ain't all that, girl. Something dumb. But then I just said, hey, let me take a step back because if I say that comment, then that means that they're getting to me. So I told them about my experiences as well. Like, you know, I was dumb, and I can admit to that. That hey, it happens. It's just that you're in a point in your life that one, everything is positive, everything is damn, everything is positive. Holy shit! Hold on, get some water. Everything is going good, and you're showing that not only in your presence, but it's in your aura. Um, Case in point, there was this one time I was working at Universal Studios Hollywood. Yes, I used to work there. Uh, I got moved up as a supervisor for a position there. I believe it was the parking. I was a parking supervisor. And all of a sudden, like, you get a pay increase, you feel a little bit happy. You start dressing a different way. You look a little bit more professional. I didn't have to wear the the little get up, so I was wearing like nice shirts, nice pants, nice shoes. When I had hair, combed it, or no, let me take that back. I had no hair at that time. It was towards the end of my run over there. So yeah, I had lost my hair already. Damn, my throat. This LA, whew, the conditions of the air in LA is just not that great. I'm starting to feel the effects. I'm starting to cough, so I do apologize for that. But going back, yeah, I was a supervisor, and yeah, I felt happy. I felt good. I'm like, all right, cool. If I stick with this job, stick with this position, I feel like I can get somewhere. I can do something, earn some money, and after about a week or so, women started noticing that I dressed differently. My attitude had changed, and it was very a positive vibe. And then it was great to see because my brother, he was there one time, and then he goes, "Oh, look, they smell the money in you," and I'm like, "What?" When he said they smell the money on you, I'm like, "What does that mean?" It's like, no, they just know that you're a supervisor and you have money, and I'm like, I think that was a big red flag for me when he said that because I had experience being a supervisor at another department. Not not good. So when he said that, I just asked him, "I- is that what they're really looking for? Or something like, is that the only? Yeah, because you look good." And then he was, kind of going, what I just said earlier, and I'm like, man, that kind of sucks. And he just like looks at me. I'm like, yeah, I go that's kind of shallow, isn't it? It's like, but neither here or there. But just giving you guys an example. So going back to my friend, he's not used to those kind of looks where it's negative, and I just told him, just brush it off. Don't worry about it. Just concentrate on your current relationship. I feel that women do that because they want attention. They see you're doing good. They see you, us men, as being a happy person, whether you're married or not, or you're in a relationship. They kind of want that. Again, it goes to something that they want because they don't have that. So in the end, I just told my friend, hey, brush that shit off. Brush that off. Can't speak right now. Brush it off. Don't even worry about it. If they were really interested in you, then they would love you when you're at your lowest point, even at your highest point. And that's something I can say with my wife. She loves me at my lowest point, and even at my highest of highs. And I love her when she's at her low, and I love her when she's at her high. So that's awesome. And I hope is there's somebody for everybody, basically. And hopefully they can be just as supporting as I mentioned when you're at your highest high and your lowest low. They're there to pick you up. And they're there. They're there to pick you up. They're there to support you. And oof, we kind of went in deep. I don't want to discuss about that, but you know, certain conversations are best in private. But that's all I'm going to share about the conversation with me and my friend. We did go into other topics, but mainly good ones. But if you guys really want to know, it was just video games and some anime, which video game animes depends. But yeah, so that's it for me for this week, guys. And I hope you guys have a great week. Um, I may or may not do an episode for next week. I have my son's birthday coming up, so we'll see. We'll figure something out. So, if you want to do some birthday wishes, happy birthday for my son. Thank you. Uh, I'll see you guys all on the next one. And again, do good, be good, do no harm to others. Thank you. Oh, and before I go, thank you so much. We have more than 500 subscribers to the channel, so thank you. Please like, share, and enjoy. I know I make content stretching out to this podcast. I play video games in my live stream. I'll post things with me and my son. We're playing Roblox. And thank you so much. There's a big Roblox community out there who love Sprunkies. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, for subscribing. Please, 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 thank you so much. And with that, I owe you guys my gratitude. Stay positive, stay safe out there, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.